The darkest chapter of room 313 is here. In the last part, we saw it. A faceless figure stepped through the second door, marked by a child's handprint on its arm. We learned about an entire family that was erased from the hotel's history in 1971. But investigators are starting to realize the most disturbing part of this story isn't about who vanished. It's about who came back. 3 days after the faceless figure was captured on camera, a guest on the third floor reported a strange smell like wet soil and damp earth. Security followed the scent to a small, unassuming storage closet. Inside, they found a cardboard box. It wasn't dusty or old. It looked like it had been placed there very recently. When they opened it, they found a human face. Not a head, just the face, perfectly removed, like a mask made of skin. The eyes were vacant, the mouth was relaxed, and there wasn't a single drop of blood. DNA tests later confirmed it belonged to a grown man, but here's the chilling part. The tissue was less than 24 hours old. Yet, this man had never been reported missing, and his fingerprints weren't in any database. It was a face with no name, no history, no identity. But as they examined it further, they found something on the inner side of the skin, a faint but unmistakable imprint of a tiny, child-sized handprint. The next night, at exactly 3:12 a.m., the hallway security camera captured something impossible. Muddy footprints started appearing one by one, trailing down the third-floor corridor. There was no person, no shadow, just the prints materializing out of thin air. At first, there were 2 sets, one large adult-sized print and one small child-sized one. But then, a third set of footprints began to form alongside them. These were twisted, unnatural. The prints were angled sideways, as if they belonged to something that had never learned how to stand and walk like a human. All 3 sets of prints led directly to the door of room 313 and stopped. Then the door slowly creaked open. This was impossible. The entire lock mechanism had been removed days before. The room inside was completely empty, but the camera's sensitive microphone picked up a faint new sound. Breathing. 3 distinct, separate patterns of breath, all coming from inside the empty room. The following morning, one of the overnight security guards failed to check in for his shift. His radio was found lying on the floor right outside room 313. It was still on, still transmitting. On the recording, you can hear the guard's terrified whispers. He says, "I don't think it's just him anymore. There's more." There's his voice cuts off, replaced by the sound of a child laughing. It's not playful. The laugh echoes layered, as if multiple children are laughing at once. The recording ends abruptly with a sickening, wet, dragging sound. The guard was never seen again. He has not been found. But hours later, the camera positioned at the end of the hall captured his shadow moving underneath the door of room 313, even though the room beyond was still dark and empty. Desperate for answers, investigators went back to the original blueprints of the hotel from the 1960s this time. They used spectral scanners to look for anything that might have been hidden, and something emerged. Faintly visible on the paper, where it hadn't been before, was a third outline. It wasn't a room. It was a shape, a vertical, elongated oval, positioned in the exact spot where room 313 would eventually be built. And scrawled underneath this strange shape were words, written in a hurried, terrified hand. It read, "Mirror, not a reflection. Mirror, a passage. Only takes what answers." And beneath that, a date was scribbled. August 17th, 1971. That was the exact day the missing boy and his family checked into the hotel, back in the hollow chamber behind the wall. Investigators made another discovery. On the far wall, where there was only concrete before, a new shape had appeared. A circular imprint, perfectly smooth and cold to the touch. This wasn't like the first door or the second. This one felt ancient. It felt older than the building itself, older than 1971. It felt older than anything that should exist inside the walls of a hotel. As they leaned in to examine it, their highly sensitive microphones picked up 3 distinct voices whispering from the other side. A man, a child, and something else, something inhuman. They weren't whispering to each other. They were all speaking at the same time, their voices overlapping as they said a single sentence. "We never left." And then the circular imprint began to turn. A deep, grinding sound echoed through the chamber like a massive ancient lock being undone. Everyone scrambled back in terror, but just as suddenly, the turning stopped. Not because it was finished, but because something on the other side seemed to turn it back, preventing it from opening. For now, that same night, the antique mirror in the hotel's basement fogged over again. A new message appeared, written from the inside. "Don't open the third door." But this time, something was different. There were 2 separate handprints pressed against the glass. One was large, an adult's. The other was small, a child's. And right next to them was a third print. It was long, far too long, with fingers that looked more like narrow, skeletal branches. When the terrified investigators returned a few hours later, another message had formed on the glass, written just below the 3 prints. It said, "He is not the only one who wants out." And under that, one final, chilling word, "Run." So who are the 3 voices behind the third door? Are they the family that disappeared all those years ago? Or are they something else entirely, just pretending to be them? And more importantly, why is something on the inside desperately trying to keep that door closed? Part 6 is coming, and it might finally reveal what room 313 truly is, and what's been trapped behind its walls for over 50 years. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the conclusion.